The geographical nature of Louisiana is important. First of all, because at the time the United States was coming up, Louisiana was strategically placed at the end of the mouth of the Mississippi River, entrance into the Gulf of Mexico. Um, we could we could bring in goods, we could ship goods, uh, have trade with the Caribbean, have trade with Mexico, and also if you go right around Cuba, you're in the Atlantic Ocean, which meant you had trade to the world. They could all come into the port of Orleans, or several ports that they had actually on the Gulf Coast. But the port of Orleans in particular, because it was situated right on the mouth of the Mississippi. And then you had access to the rest of the country going north of the Mississippi. Being in a place like that meant that you had people from all around, all the areas that you traded with. You suddenly had people coming in, going out, but you had a community, you had a world community develop in New Orleans. And with them, they brought their cultures, they brought their music. And also being in a place where you could have access to the rest of the country and access to the rest of the world, travel was slow. So in a way, being so far away from other major hubs on the East Coast, New Orleans was quite literally a gumbo of music, and I know that's an overused reference, but it's the best reference of all, because you had all these people with all these different backgrounds just stewing, and you know, uh, what I believe to be American music started right there, Not to mention the fact that you had the Acadians who were exiled from Nova Scotia, and although some of them ended up on the East Coast, some of them ended up, further up the Mississippi. A vast majority of them also ended up, a little further west in Southwest Louisiana, and they brought with them their music, and that music was intermingled with other groups that came in, Um, but my point being that you had this group of people with this culture that was so far removed from the rest of the country that it had no other choice but to stew and to create a sound unlike anything else. Um, Amazing. I love the Cajun music. I love the Creole music, New Orleans music, and it's it the basis for American, what we call American music, and it started right there. Um, we were in a place where whites, blacks intermingled. Where if you were maybe in a city, they would have been separated. These guys had relationships down here. Played together, traded ideas together. Well, not just whites and blacks, but people from all over the world trading ideas. The rhythms of the Caribbean mixed with melodies of Ireland, mixed with the melodies of France and Acadia, and everything. I don't know, just beautiful stuff, man.